From the early days of machine code and assembly language to modern languages like Python and JavaScript, programming languages have come a long way. They've made it possible for humans to communicate with computers, build incredible software, and revolutionize the world around us. Whether you're just starting to learn programming or you've been coding for years, it's clear that programming languages will always be at the heart of innovation and progress. APIs, or application programming interfaces, are something most of us don't think about, but they play a vital role in modern technology. They allow different software systems to communicate with each other and make much of what we do online possible, from using apps on our phones to interacting with websites. Today, let's take a look at how API development has evolved over time, shaping the way we interact with technology. Chapter 1: Early Days. What is an API? The concept of APIs dates back to the early days of computing in the 1960s. Back then, computers were large machines, and software programs were written to directly interact with hardware. APIs at that time were essentially small libraries of code that allowed software developers to reuse code and avoid writing everything from scratch. In simple terms, an API is a bridge that allows one software system to talk to another. Instead of learning the inner workings of another program, an API provides a set of instructions on how to interact with it. These early APIs were mainly internal, used within a single system to simplify software development. Chapter 2: The Rise of Web APIs. The internet exploded in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and this opened up new possibilities for APIs. Instead of just interacting within one system, APIs could now connect different systems over the web. This led to the rise of web APIs. One of the first popular examples of a web API was provided by Salesforce in 2000. They allowed developers to integrate Salesforce's data into their own applications. This was a game changer because it allowed different systems to connect over the internet. Soon after, companies like eBay and Amazon began offering their own APIs to integrate with their services. The introduction of SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol, made these early web APIs more standardized, enabling developers to use them in a more structured way. Chapter 3: REST and Simplicity. While SOAP made APIs more functional, it was often considered too complex. Developers wanted something simpler, which led to the development of REST, Representational State Transfer, in the early 2000s. REST APIs are lightweight, easy to use, and work well with the web. This approach allowed APIs to become faster and easier for developers to implement, helping them grow in popularity. REST is based on standard HTTP methods, which means it works the same way as websites do, making it intuitive for developers to use. REST became the dominant way to build APIs, and soon, companies like Twitter, Facebook, and Google started using it for their APIs, allowing developers to build apps that could interact with their services seamlessly. Chapter 4: The API Economy. APIs started to transform into something bigger, an essential part of doing business. The term API economy emerged as companies began to realize they could offer their services and data through APIs, letting others build on top of their platforms. For example, the Google Maps API allowed developers to add interactive maps to their websites and applications. Suddenly, anyone could use Google's powerful mapping technology, integrating it into their own apps without having to develop the functionality themselves. This ability to connect services fueled innovation, allowing startups and businesses to launch new apps quickly and cost-effectively. The success of companies like Uber, which heavily relied on third-party APIs such as Google Maps and Twilio for SMS services, showed just how important APIs had become for modern software development. Chapter 5: Modern API Development. Today, API development has reached a new level of sophistication. There are thousands of public APIs available now, providing access to everything from social media data to cloud services. Modern APIs are also much more secure, scalable, and efficient. With the rise of JSON, JavaScript Object Notation, as the standard data format, APIs have become even more lightweight and easier to use. In addition to REST, newer technologies like GraphQL have emerged. Introduced by Facebook in 2015, GraphQL allows clients to request only the data they need, making it more efficient for certain use cases. Developers can now choose the best approach: REST, GraphQL, or even gRPC, depending on their specific needs. Cloud platforms like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud provide powerful APIs for developers to manage everything from storage to machine learning services. This has given rise to microservices architecture, where complex applications are broken down into smaller, manageable services that communicate through APIs. Chapter 6: APIs and the Future of Development. The future of APIs looks promising as more industries are adopting them beyond just web development. With the rise of IoT, Internet of Things, APIs are now used to connect everything from smart home devices to industrial machinery. APIs for AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are also growing in importance, allowing businesses to tap into cutting-edge technologies without needing to develop their own models from scratch. API-first development is also becoming more common, where companies design APIs first and then build their applications around them. This allows for more flexibility and better integration across different platforms and devices. As APIs continue to evolve, they will remain a cornerstone of software development, enabling innovation and making it easier for developers to build powerful, connected applications. Conclusion: the evolution of API development has been a journey of growth, simplicity, and innovation. From the early days of internal libraries to the web's explosion and the modern API economy, APIs have transformed how we interact with technology. They are now an essential tool in building the digital world around us, and their importance will only continue to grow in the future.